Ingrid Campo-Ruiz, Architect Postdoctoral Research, KTH, Sweden. Ingrid Campo-Ruiz research focuses on architecture, artificial intelligence, and their social and environmental impact. She is developing strategies to enhance social inclusion and preserve the environment in the places we live in, incorporating machine learning. Ingrid is a practicing architect, research, environmental advocate, and artist. She is now researching as European Commission Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions Individual Fellow at KTH School of Architecture, Stockholm. She is now researching. Ingrid is also the founder of Campo-Ruiz Architect, Less Waste Architecture, and Why Less Waste. Ingrid earned an international PhD from Madrid Polytechnic University UPM and ETSAM, Spain. Ingrid received a Master of Science and Advanced Architectural Research both at Columbia University, GSAPP, New York. Ingrid's work has been awarded the William Kenney Prize from Columbia University and two Caja Madrid Foundation Fellowship. Then let us welcome Ingrid.
Thank you everyone for being here today in person and on YouTube. So I want to tell you about my holidays. Last summer, I was so excited. I was going to visit a city for the first time, and I turned to different apps in my phone to help me discover this place. The main recommended destination was a central square. So as I approached, I was dreaming of discovering this vibrant place bursting with life. And as I arrived, I was surprised to find a place overrun by an endless stream of fellow tourists. Still, with many hopes, I decided to go to a restaurant. This one had excellent reviews online. Nothing could go wrong, actually. So upon our arrival, I found an oddly familiar scene. The restaurant was packed with people, all suspiciously familiar. All of us, we were tourists drawn in by online reviews. So I began to feel a sense of disappointment. This ancient city has now become a tourist magnet, which feels more like a theme park. So what was going on? I was making decisions based on apps with embedded AI, and these recommendations were too generic, not sufficiently personalized for me, and just took me where most people were going. So machine learning, as a definition, we could say that it uses enormous collections of data to train a model, and this model can then do tasks without having to be programmed for a specific purpose. For example, it can make predictions on the best routes to connect to places or recommend us where to go based on the comments from previous users. So AI systems are now a big part of our reality and our lives. These systems are part of our work, our conversations, and our leisure experiences. It's really everywhere. Even those who do not actively use AI, they are part of its data and its processes. And many are excited about the short-term effect of AI, but what about the long-term effect? What's waiting for us? What's going to be? So AI algorithms are initially programmed by people, and we could even think of them as really powerful calculators. However, these tools can have a very strong influence on how people behave and how people understand the world. So today, I would like to assess 3 issues that I think are very important regarding artificial intelligence in the context of architecture at social, economic, and political levels. So most popular AI tools are trained on billions of data from the internet. So during my holidays, the AI recommendations I was using came from reviews provided by very specific type of user. I could say the English-speaking and tech-savvy individuals that often write these comments online. So therefore, a big problem is that these AI algorithms are using that data, and their source of data is biased. So it doesn't reflect the diversity of reality. So when AI is trained on internet data, it adapts better to the needs of the people who have entered that data and have created that information, and not necessarily to all the other rest of persons. So therefore, the images and recommendations we obtain from AI tools based on the internet can be heavily biased, and I think they really are, and privilege some actors over others. So this image, for me, is not just an image, it's the crystallization of powerful actors in the global scene. In this situation, some people may argue that the bias of AI lies only in the data, and the problem is not the algorithms, right? However, I argue that, yes, indeed, the problem also lies in AI systems. In research, we know that data always has some kind of limitations and biases. However, as researchers, we know that we should clearly explain the limitations of the scope of our data. As researchers, we cannot publish an article and blame for our mistakes to the data we used, saying like, oh, the data was poor. So we are curators of information, and we are responsible for the information we use. So in my opinion, the same should apply for AI systems in the built environment, because they are curating our data, and they having a lot of implications for everyone, and especially for vulnerable people. So developers of AI systems should clarify the limitations of their sources of data to all users to strive for transparency and better understanding the biases. Also biased on the internet, AI bots can be used to generate images, videos, songs, you name it. Many of us have been already exploring these tools. So for example, Midjourney converts text prompts into images, such as the ones I have been using today in my presentation, which are produced with interacting with Midjourney today. So when I request Midjourney an image of a woman, the bot systematically reproduces a certain type of women. This is an example. Some argue that it is a biased image, and I said, yes, it is very biased. Indeed, in my opinion, generative AI is very helpful in reflecting the number of images on the internet that perpetuate a specific stereotype of women. For me, generative AI is a very helpful tool to grasp, in reality, the extensive reality of images circulating around the internet about, in this case, women. If generative AI produces an image out of a prevalent parameters of women, then we have a problem. If this is the kind of image that is prevalent in the internet as a source of data, there's a clear problem. Where are all the other women? There are obvious gaps in the graphic information. I'm pretty sure that these images do not represent the vast majority of women in the world. As architects, for me, I think our bodies are our first basic relationship with the world and with the built environment. The body we inhabit is our primary space. As such, I care for the implications for the spatial relationship with our bodies. For example, many elements we designed and we have in our homes are related to our bodies. If you think about it, door handles, the windows, the doors, they all have some kind of relationship in size, proportion, and how we interact with them as human beings. So for what kind of bodies are we designing homes if these are the prevalent images that are around the internet? These are the prevalent stereotypes. So AI systems can also help us identify key concentrations of power, and I think it's very useful. Some people might think AI is biased. Okay, it's biased, but it's reflecting these very complex realities, helping to understand these huge amounts of images that are circulating around, and without this tool, we would not have a way to understand the full extent of this kind of images. So next issue I would like to discuss today is the redefinition of culture with AI. Some platforms and apps with AI are based on user recommendations that suggest what cultural places and activities to engage with. For example, during my holidays, I was using apps to help me recommend where to go next. Or where, for example, you can easily find when you're using an app, what's the important thing to visit in this place when you're for the first time in a place. And many of these apps recommend you like the main hotspot. Let's go to this museum. But do you think that all culture is in museums? I really don't think so. But if we follow the recommendations, I think AI is redefining our concepts of culture, of reframing what is culture and what is outside culture. It's like a new curator for our what information through these very powerful recommendations. Thus, AI is actively transforming our definitions of culture, and it's prioritizing some spaces and activities as cultural over others. So next, okay, everything is not a critic today. I would like to, given this situation that I have been analyzing until now, I would like to propose 3 steps that I think are very important to move forward with AI. So first, I would like to encourage that we ensure more inclusivity in the input of parameters and data of the AI tools. On the one hand, we can use AI to better understand the multiple parameters that describe reality. We now have enormous amounts of data, and with AI tools, we can better understand all of this data that otherwise it would be impossible for us humans to understand all of these numbers. But AI only shows part of that reality. We should be aware of the current limitations of the AI systems. They do not include many of the other important parameters of a space or a place. Not everything is numbers. Even in our lives, we also have many other cultural and emotional aspects in our everyday life and in the built environment. So the second step I would like to propose is that in the future, or starting from today, we combine AI tools with other knowledge, such as humanistic, social, and ethical values. So AI should be one more tool that helps us to better understand the diversity of the world we live in, and not just a narrow perspective. We should not only rely on AI, but if we combine it with other sources of knowledge, I think we will be in a very good position to develop the world and include more people in it.
Yes.
The prompt actually was to ask for a Japanese type of aquarelle with waves made out of plastic bags. And I think it reflected my point because it combines also artistic knowledge. And the third step forward I would like to suggest is to think critically. So when we are using these tools, just not follow what they say immediately. And what role can we play in this process? Many of us are constantly feeding algorithms, but not just when we write reviews. Also, just with our searches and purchases, whenever we are using these tools, we are also teaching these systems. So let's critically consider when we use AI systems, who am I actually supporting and who am I neglecting in this situation? Is anyone going to be more vulnerable? If, for example, if I use mainstream businesses, are other businesses going to be more damaged, or are other people going to be left behind? So finally, my conclusions. Going back to my holidays, AI in reality was very helpful. I did not always follow the recommendations. Actually, I started wandering around the city on my own, but AI was a very helpful companion for me because I knew that anywhere I would go, I could always know the way back, but I could also always learn more about the places I just found by randomly from my phone. So I think that if you try to use it critically, it can be a very helpful tool for all of us. So in conclusion, I think we are undergoing now an explosive revolution because AI, its uses now have been massively extended. AI and architecture can help bring people together, but if it's not used correctly, it can also produce a lot of segregation of people and only be a tool for the interest of a few. But not everyone has the tools and the time and the skills to be an active player in how AI is working now and how it's affecting our lives. So for me, AI systems are a very valuable tool. They are like gold, a precious tool, but not in the hands of everyone. And I call to all of those who have the agency, the skills, and the time to use AI to help others. Please, we can be activists to use AI for good and impact positively in the place we live in. So my takeaway messages today here are the following. 3. First, please include more parameters in AI systems. 2. Use AI systems with other sources of knowledge, including humanistic and ethical values and the physical aspects of our lives. And 3, use AI tools critically, understanding that not all texts are true, not all images are representative, and not all recommendations serve your best interest. But still, AI systems are a huge opportunity to make the world a better place in my perspective. Thank you very much for listening to me today.
One current problem with some of the AI models we have today seems to be that they're kind of all the same everywhere in the world. So it's kind of like one model globally. And I started thinking about, like, what if you just individualize it? Like, if you can, change the parameters yourself, maybe this helps them. But then I also realized that, well, it won't kind of change the resolution of the data for underrepresented groups. So even if you dial up the data for, data sets of demographics that are perhaps today not represented, you would not get the same resolution as, for example, a European data set. So there really seems to be a problem in the basics, like in the production of data globally.
Yes, I highlighted this in the presentation we had before, that there is a large gap of information for many AI systems, but I would like to say I have a different perspective from you. I think that AI systems, for me, in reality, are a very large system of systems. It's interconnected. It's applied everywhere, but for example, the AI that we have in a building to control the thermostat and the temperature does not know anything about the AI of ChatGPT or other AI systems. So we have like AI spread all over our lives, in our phones, our buildings, our conversations. When we write a text, there's also AI proposing what to say next or what to search next. Or for architects, even what to draw next. There's a suggestion of maybe you want to draw a line this direction. It exists already. But I don't think they are interconnected. So I don't think there's like a large mind controlling everything behind. It's just like a tool that it's applied everywhere. I would like to see it as many powerful calculators. And yes, of course, there's always the problem of data. And that's why I say that data is always going to be biased. We know that as researchers that no matter what you do, your sample is always going to be a sample, and you cannot put everyone in because it's impossible to manage so much. But in this sense, AI is super helpful because it can help us to manage larger amounts of data that we had before. Before we could go through, for example, I can refer to my own experience as an architect researching. We could refer to just a few sources, and look, let's see what I find on the internet, what has been written about this issue. But now there's AI tools help us as researchers to navigate through the existing publications in a wild way. For example, drawing networks of what is related to the issue you are looking for. And this is really helpful, I think. So, okay, the suggestions of these sources, for example, regarding publications, is going to be always biased. But if you combine it with your own traditional methods, welcome, please welcome. It's very helpful.